learning how to pitch your video game idea is one of the most important things you need to learn if you want to make video games. Now, it's not just investors, but it's also a way to get your team together. Your pitch needs to be good, your pitch needs to be short, it needs to be visually striking. All the information about your game needs to be in there, and you need to be able to talk well to convince people. Now, this is something that you're going to be learning in this video because I teach it in Gamer to Maker. Now, the process in Gamer to Maker is that we have a bunch of people who are in the game design program. Everyone pitches their game Shark Tank style, and at the end of it, only a few make it. So in this video, you're going to see the 9 winning games from the Centaurus and the Delta batch that actually made the final cut. These are the winning games. These are games that are actually going to be made in the Gamer to Maker program. So let's go.
The title of my presentation gives you the idea that I'm gonna murder your eardrums today. Let's just say I have something far more terrifying in store for you. Welcome to Scream. The story follows Aiden, a disgraced ex-police officer who scars through in a mental hospital in search of his mother. However, an experiment gone wrong turns the in-house schizophrenia patients into violent parasitic creatures and sets them on a bloodthirsty frenzy. As far as the high concept of the game goes, Scream is a 2D side-scroller game aimed at the PC demographic. It is both a platformer and horror game and allows you to navigate through puzzles and fight against parasitic monsters to reach the end goal here. The gameplay summary. The Scream is a game that consists of 5 levels, each full of puzzles and parasitic monsters for you to power through. Every puzzle failed or life lost sends you back to the start, giving the game roguelike elements. Ammunition here is limited, and the game also features a mutation system with a timer that goes down with every blow dealt. Here is a mock-up of the game. We have our health bar on the top left, our ammo counter on the bottom left, our mutation timer on the bottom right, our protagonists, parasitic monsters, and seeing how they're attacking our protagonist here. Next up, we have the art style. Scream will feature a grayscale or dull art style to resemble a comic book. The color palette used here will be dark to provide a rather rabid or eerie environment to the game. The game will be paid and will feature no microtransactions whatsoever. Lastly, what makes our Scream louder? Unlike most horror games that resort to 3D jump scare tactics, Scream builds the eeriness up with just the environment. And as far as puzzles go, there will be no insert the key or pull the lever kind of puzzles. There will be puzzles that will actually require you to pay attention throughout the game and use their problem solving abilities. And lastly, as far as the narrative goes, there will be a shocking twist at the end, ending the game on a very high note. The game is set to compete with the likes of Deadlight, Legend of Tianding, and Hollow Knight. Thank you for having me here.
Hi friends. Nowadays, drone flying has become a trend. So today we are introducing Drone Mania. Get wings in 2023. Drone Mania 2023 is the 3D game and built for the Android and PC. The game objective is to develop the player's skill to control the drone efficiently for race, stunt, and fight. This game can be played in FPP and TPP mode with 3D low poly art style. This game has 3 different modes: race, stunt, and fight. The game also has 2 basic joysticks to control the drone. The right one is for moving forward, backward, left, and right, while the left one is for moving up and down with left and right view. We will also add some shortcut controls in stunt mode and tap control for fire in fight mode. Let's come into the screen mockup. In the bottom left and right, there is 2 joystick for the control, and the top center, there's a battery, time, and speed indicator. In race mode, the player has to achieve the time and complete the task. And stunt and fight mode, the player has to score high. During the gameplay, the player has to be aware about battery, charger, and charging point. The game environment can be any closed area like college campus, building, stadium, and ruins structure. For the monetization, we have in-app purchase, battle pass, skin, and drone purchase for sale. In the competitor list, we have a Quadro FX with 10 lakh downloads, 19,000 reviews, and 4.3 star rating. And AR Drone has 50,000 downloads, 171 reviews with 3.9 star rating. And Drone Pilot has 50,000 downloads and 156 reviews and 3.8 star are ready. So get ready, both. Thank you.
Most of us have experienced something like this while playing Prototype, but what if I told you you can do something like this while being the enemy and the boss of the game? Well, now you can. Hello Spartans, I'm Himanshu and this is my game, Doppelganger. Doppelganger is a 2D top-down roguelike shooter for Android and PC where you are the enemy and you attack in waves at night. The waves will not end until you die, and the longer you survive and the more players you kill, the more coins you will get for upgrades. The gameplay is pretty simple. The player attacks in waves starting with a basic handgun as you can see in the video. The enemies attack from all sides and player can move in eight directions but has no health and can be killed from a single hit by the enemy. But wait, here's a twist. The more number of enemies you kill, the more they'll start looking like you, meaning they'll have the same weapons and upgrades as you. After every 10th wave, a boss round will begin, where you will play as the boss and have shape-shifting abilities. Now, depending on the upgrades you purchase, you can either be a Goliath, a tank or something else. Here is a main screen mock-up of the game. The art style I'm aiming for is 2D stylized cartoonish art. Here are some of the assets used in the game. The game art references are from Trigger Witch, gameplay-wise, and Laser Fury for dark-themed levels. Game monetization. So Doppelganger will be a free-to-play game where money will come from in-app purchases for buying weapons and armor, and in-game ads for reviving the player once. Now, competitive analysis. So Prototype and Nobody Saves the World are similar games where you have shape-shifting abilities and you get to wreak havoc on the enemy. So why us? So you get a boss-like feeling, you can wreak havoc in the game, you have shape-shifting abilities, and of course, fast-paced gameplay to keep you on the edge always. Thank you.
Good evening all. How many here have grown up watching Tom and Jerry? I used to love it. And here today I present to you Kitty Store TD. It is a cat-themed tower defense game for Android and iOS, in which you place cats in an isometric 3D low poly supermarket store, and you use the cats to stop the rats from ruining your store grocery. The gameplay involves 5 steps: set up, defend, upgrade, the basic tower defense stuff, and cool down since cats need energy and they demand food for it. And if you run out of food, don't worry, because it also passively recharges as the cat take their nap. You can also expand and unlock new maps and areas. It could be a part of live ops. The main screen mockup sort of looks like this. It is a portrait screen, and in the center you can see the yellow cheese dot lines in which you make the pathway for the rats to follow, and you place the cats around it and try and stop them. The game art references involves a biped cat, which is the low poly 3D looking animal, and then you have 3D store assets. They're going to ignore the people because there would be none there, and there is this 3D tank sort of a concept of a cat. The gameplay loop involves core loop, which is a simple setup, defend, reward, upgrade, and expand. And the meta loop, we have setup, defend, earn, reward, these 3 things, which when you buy upgrades, you have advanced setup, defending from variety of roads, that is different rodents, and greater rewards. With rewards, you can buy expansions, and after every defense, you have energy cooldown. Game monetization involves ads for level retry and in-game shop for cosmetics and skins. Competitive analysis involves these 2 games, which is Cat and Robot Idol TD, Battle Cat, and the Battle Cats, which are very well received and very well rated, how a good cat game should be. Thank you. This has been Vaibhav Raul.
Hey guys, have you ever wanted to be an Autowala in post-apocalyptic India? Well, this is your chance. Auto Wars Kolkata versus Howrah lets you be exactly that. The story is simple. It's the year 2012 in an alternative timeline. The Autowalas of Kolkata and Howrah have gotten into war, society has collapsed, and everything is in ruins. They're armed with weapons of mass destructions, and they reign supreme. And whatever rates they say are final, no negotiations. There are 2 factions, Kolkata All-Night Riders or Howrah's Howling Commandos. Which will you choose? The high concept of the game is that it's a third-person racing, shooter, and multiplayer. The platform is PC, and the game mode is an arena-based 3v3 capture the flag. The gameplay summary is that the idea is to have a 3v3 arena-based shooter with capture the flag gameplay mode, but on wheels. The game is heavily inspired from the likes of Rocket League and Twisted Metal from PS1 era. The vehicle-related settings include a dedicated drifting button and a nitro button, customizable autos, and pickups like health, weapons, and speed boost. These are the 2 game references, as you can see, Rocket League and Twisted Metal. There are 3 vehicle types: armored auto, normal auto, and a small auto. An armored auto is not actually an auto, it looks like one. It's low, more health, is easier to hit, has larger collision boxes, and has 4 wheels. The normal auto, as you have guessed it, is a normal auto. The small auto is actually a bike with an auto hood. It has less health, it has faster, harder to hit, smaller collision box, and has 2 wheels. There are 4 types of weapons. The default weapon you will get with unlimited ammo is a pistol. The other weapons, AK-47, bazooka, and grenade launchers, are all consumables and have limited ammo. There are 2 maps, the War for Little Benland and the Battle for Howrah Bridge. These are AI-generated images to give you an idea. This is the game UI concept, as you can see, heavily inspired from Rocket League. The game art style will be a low-poly inspired version of the art style that was available in Battlefield Heroes. The monetization is that it's free to play, digital assets are NFTs, and it has microtransaction. Thank you.
Hello everyone. It's pretty common sense that a pool game and a shotgun have no connections, right? Well, let me present you a game which has. Baller B is a physics-based puzzle game for mobile platform. It has a 2D top-down perspective in cartoonish art style. In this game, player has to shoot a cue ball with a shotgun to hit other balls and make them reach the goal post. The gameplay mechanics is simple. You shoot on a cue ball with a shotgun to make it collide with other balls and obstacles. The goal is to aim all the balls in the goal post. To do that, the aiming is done by pressing the character and dragging the pointer in a line you want to fire the shot in. Here, your character can move in all directions freely, but your gun can only shoot the cue ball, no other balls. Now, there are various walls lying on the ground which can obstruct the path of the balls which you need to utilize or avoid in order to reach the goal. There are 2 modes of gameplay, normal mode and challenger mode. In challenger mode, there is a time limit and number of tries you can do, whereas in normal mode, there are no such limits. Now, where will this game be published and how will this game make money? Baller B will be published on Google Play Store, and monetization will take place through watching ads and watch ads to buy lives in challenger mode. Now, why play this game? It is a skill-based play. Everyone loves it. It gives a new approach to look at a board game with a shotgun. Thank you for everyone for watching, and a special thanks to my brother.
We all know that it's really difficult to fight the negative thoughts inside our mind. Now imagine fighting them when you are in a coma. So this is what our protagonist has to do, and he needs your help with it. Hello everyone, sorry for the grim start, but this is my game, The War Within. So The War Within is a 3-dimensional first-person shooter game which will be made for PC. It closely resembles a zombie shooter. So what do you do in this game? You basically clear levels by fighting the negative thoughts inside your mind, which will be the mental projections. The game is highly inspired from the movie Inception. There will be 3 levels in a dream-like sequence. So if you have watched the movie, then you will understand the concept of the dream within a dream within a dream. You start from the deepest levels, so the time dilation decreases as you progress, which was as in the movie. You use weapons, you use grenades, and you use a special ability where your brain realizes that, oh, it's just a dream. So you become immortal and you have infinite ammunition. Here's a mock-up for the screen. For the art style, the environment would initially be dark, but as you progress further, as you defeat the negative thoughts, the environment becomes colorful. The game would be made in low poly art, and the levels would be small, 5 to 6 minutes, and they will be procedurally generated for uniqueness. Here are some game art references for the game. For the monetization, the game would be published on List.io, and its price would be $1. For competitive analysis, here are some popular zombie shooter games for PC: Dying Light, Left 4 Dead, and Resident Evil. But what makes my game better? I believe that most of zombie games lack a good premise, which my game doesn't. It has a unique premise. It has a variety of environment types ranging from dark to colorful, and the game is relatively cheap compared to the other games. That's all from my side. Thank you.
We are all familiar with Sherlock Holmes, right? A fictional detective renowned for his master of observation, deduction, forensic science, and logical reasoning that verges on fantasy. But have you ever wondered how he came to be? When Sir Arthur Conan Doyle came up with a character so brilliant, what was going through his mind? Well, these thoughts occurred to me while I was working on my game concept, Paper Detective. So, Paper Detective is an interactive text-based mystery game for mobile and PC platforms that tells the story of an exceptional detective who suffers from agoraphobia and how he brilliantly solves crimes that are occurring all around him, all from the safety of his home. As for the gameplay, at the start of each case, the player must The player must gather information from various sources such as newspapers and police investigation reports. Then they must verify the witness testimony and cross-check all of the facts that they have gathered. Each mission will conclude once the culprit has been identified. This is the gameplay mock-up. The players are encouraged to record all of the clues that they have found using notepads or other devices. They are also encouraged to use the internet to find information about various topics that they may be unaware of, because our character is canonically a well-read person with a wealth of knowledge on various subjects. Here we can see the player trying to get good at the game using the help of Google. As for the game art style, it will be a colorful game with a minimalistic art style, something similar to Firewatch and Monument Valley. For monetization, since it's a mission-based game, we can have a story arc of about 2-3 missions that are free for the players before they need to buy the game to continue playing. As for the competitive analysis, we have the Ace Attorney series, which has a similar visual novel action adventure theme based on courtroom cases. It has sold around 8.6 million copies worldwide. We also have Disco Elysium, an RPG game which follows the story of a detective and contains text-based gameplay. Unmemory is another text-based mystery game. It has tens of thousands of downloads on both iOS and Android. Now you might be wondering why vote for this game. Well, first of all, you get to create a protagonist as sharp as Sherlock himself. Then, for all of my fellow storytellers out there, it will serve as a playground for all of you guys. And in the end, I think it will be interesting. Very, very interesting game to both make and play. Thank you guys. That's all from my side.
So in the dark pits of hell, a lone warrior walks with only vengeance in his mind. A game about revenge and of humanity. This is Divine Retribution. The high concept is a 2D action game with a dark and grimy art style representative of the bleak world it's set in. Story would follow our protagonist, who goes through heaven and hell to get revenge for his family, who were casualties of the war between the angels and demons. The player will have the choice to allow the protagonist to embrace his demonic side or to remain human. Think Castlevania meets Devil May Cry meets God of War. Now for the gameplay, the player will have access to a light attack, a heavy attack, and a parry, alongside general side-scroller movement. The enemies would be demons and angels faced in either heaven or hell, and archangels and archdemons would act as bosses. Now a bit about those mechanics. A light attack is a swift jab towards the enemy, low in both damage and risk, while the heavy attack is much slower but stuns the enemy for a short duration. The defense we'll have will be the parry, which, if done with correct timing, allows the player to evade attacks deftly. The player uses these attacks in combination with movement keys to dish out combos. They can also use special skills obtained in the game through exploration for a devastating attack. Now a mock-up screen showcasing UI elements and the game's visual themes. So while nothing is quite set in stone for how the game would look like, as we discussed earlier, the game will have darker themes inspired by the likes of SMT and Castlevania. Here's some references. On the left, we have some environments, while on the right, we have an archangel and an archdemon design. So finally, the game's competitive analysis. The gameplay would be similar to 2D action games like The Legend of Tianting, and map exploration and themes closer to games such as Castlevania, giving us a blend of both of these games. With that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this presentation, and let's find our humanity.
So those were the 9 winning games. Do let me know which one was your favorite, and you will be able to watch the making of these games right here. I'm going to let you know about the progress. I'm going to show you video logs of these games, and you'll be able to follow these games being developed by the Spartans of G2M. So if you want to be a Spartan, you want to make games exactly like this, you want to come up with your game ideas and build games from scratch and learn how to make video games, do that, join G2M, join the game design program. The link is in the description of this video. So thank you, and let me know what you think in the comments. Let's go.